Ladies and gentlemen, my name is TotalBiscuit here at Eurogamer Expo 2011, and I'm here with Arto from Dicework Games. He is the self-professed code wizard, perhaps waiting to graduate to code sorcerer. Always a possibility. We'll see. We'll see. Depends how well this game goes. It goes by the name of Rimelands, Hammer of Thor, and he's going to talk us through it. Arto, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you.
Fantastic. Right. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Rimelands, Hammer of Thor? Firstly, what is it?
Basically it's a turn-based RPG. It started as a roguelike, but it evolved in a more full-scale RPG.
Okay.
But the controls and the gameplay is a very roguelike-ish, but it's more casual than you'd expect normal roguelike to be. So the game is really fast-paced and swift, but still turn-based.
Okay, so we're still talking dice-based combat.
Yeah,
like
dice-based because all the combat here is based on dice.
Oh, the dice actually appear on the screen.
Yeah.
Right.
So when you attack the enemy, you click, and then you get dice. So now I have to get the skulls that are here in the side, but I didn't get any. So I can spend 1 point of mana to re-roll the dice. Bad luck. Well, it happens.
It happens
often. Yeah.
Yep. It's okay. She's useless too.
Yeah. And then I just like again. Yeah. Now I get one skull. She blocked. This happens so often because I know exactly how the mechanism works, but I still sometimes feel like the computer's cheating.
Yeah, it hates you.
Yeah, it hates me. Reroll, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
It's a piercing attack.
Ouch.
That's really effective. And you just move around with the mouse.
Yeah, so it's a tile-based.
Yeah, tile-based game.
Yep.
Totally. More guys. Just move forward. Now I can shoot one. Bang. Now they notice me. Reroll. Oh, no. And shoot them again.
When all else fails, bring the gun out.
Then I can also do special talents, skills,
Okay.
like a battle charge.
Right.
And press it, I'll attack the guy straight on. Bang. Actually, if I would have done a piercing hit again, I would have stunned him. But no such luck.
Okay.
So that's basically the base mechanic. It all centers around the dice and re-rolling, having enough mana to re-roll. I only have one, so I'm a bit screwed now. But
it's an interesting set of mechanics, as you said. It is a dice rolling game, but the fact that the animation sort of pause mid-swing in order to make that happen does give it a feeling of momentum. And
it's a lot more faster than it actually looks in screenshots.
Yeah.
There
you go. You've always made your way through there.
And if you don't want to watch the dice rolling, you can also enable fast dice rolls that appear, so it makes the game smoother if you want. So.
All I can say is I hope that you're on God mode at the moment. They seem to be getting some unlucky rolls there.
Yeah.
Okay, so every RPG's got to have equipment, surely. So how does that work in this game?
Yeah, it's basically really simple. It's a bit similar to JRPGs, so I press inventory, And so there's 4 slots: melee, range, armor, and accessory.
Okay.
So melee is melee weapons, there's dagger and shaman stick, pistols. I can unequip and equip them. Not very much here at the moment. So I'll go there and pick up something for the chest. So now I got a swift dagger.
So a little better than what you had, yeah?
Yeah. Then just talents. There's 3 talent trees. On each level you can select from one path, so you can have hybrid characters also.
Yeah, I was about to ask about classes, so it's just driven by the talent system.
Yeah, talents and dice. You get from levels you also get new dices and other bonuses, but the talent system is really where it shines. All the talents they're not your usual like fire attack, ice attack, and so on. Almost every talent really changes the gameplay. So here's the Barbarian tree, there's battle charge, where you can run up to the enemy. There's a resilience, it reduces the damage done to you, so you can last longer in melee battle.
Okay.
And there's talents like the Shaman has a talent where every time you make a piercing attack, you get more mana back. So you get to balance between to get a piercing or spend mana, and there's a lot of balancing with the mana system because there's 5 points and it will always be 5 points. You don't get more mana at any point of the game.
All right, okay.
You just get talents where you can recover mana faster. So
okay, cool. So, right, so you've still got to be quite careful with use of mana, a little bit conservative.
Especially because rerolls also use mana points. So there's the cutscene.
Well, that doesn't seem too pleasant.
There's the guy. He's called Herman Göttertammerung.
Okay.
He's the baddie of the game.
Fair enough. Speaking of the sort of theme of it, the name is, of course, Rimelands Hammer of Thor. Are we expecting a heavy Norse mythology basis?
Yeah, it's based on Norse mythology, but the Rimelands setting itself is kind of steampunk alternative future, where in the 19th century there was this ice age and everybody went underground in the vaults.
All right.
And 1,000 years later they noticed that, okay, ice age is going to be over, we're re-emerging onto the surface, and they find that there are these creatures called the fair folk, the fairies, who have retaken the earth, and there's war between them. Now there's peace, but it's not very strong. It's a lot of tension on both sides. And
okay. What were these guys to deal with for the time being? Now, how long do you exactly expect this game to be? Is this is this a very lengthy game, or is this more sort of a casual experience?
8 hours, 8 to 10 hours.
8 hours, okay. So it's kind of thing you can make your way through in a day if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Do you think the game is going to have a lot of replayability? Or?
Yeah, there's some. Well, the story is linear, but the paths are different enough to warrant actual replay. And we have the game out on iOS already, and we had a lot of comments from reviewers and from players that they've played like 3 times over the game just because there's a lot of talents they want to try. And
okay, yeah, so it's more based on the fact that the mechanics are so different as opposed to the fact the story doesn't change that much.
Yeah, and some of the levels are randomly generated, so there's also variety in that.
Okay, cool, you got some procedural generation in there. How much does conversing and indeed social interaction really matter within the game? So, say, talking to NPCs and things like that.
Well, mostly it's just to get quests and get some. You can also get more information about the setting and so on. It's there. You can do it, but it's not really necessary.
Right. Okay.
We basically wanted to make a game where the combat is really good, and we wanted to concentrate on that. And so you don't have to do anything much else, because that's where the main focus of the game is currently.
Yeah, there's something about very overt dice combat that actually it's kind of satisfying when you roll the right dice, and then incredibly infuriating when you roll the wrong ones. But every roll of the dice, you have a little bit of hope in you, because it's sort of a little bit of the edge of gambling in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see why that would be.
Yeah, and it's very transparent. You actually know how the system works.
That's always good. Yeah.
And so if I kill this guy here, no.
Eventually, it will die.
Fortunately, I have potions left, so I can.
Useful. Do you have a release date for this one yet? Do you have a release date for the game yet?
No, we are aiming for the end of the year, but it's tentative.
Yeah, of course.
It's hard
absolutely.
to say. Basically, we have all the content from iOS already, but it takes time to polish it for the PC.
Definitely.
We don't want to rush it out and make a mediocre game. We want to. If you release the game on PC, we want it really to shine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and here's the notch 11. Now I get more dice. You can in the next comment you can see 3 dice, so it's more satisfying than getting just 1 point of a stat.
And new weapon as well. It's always good.
Yeah, and I got a
I'm interested to see what the difference between the weapons is.
They give you dice and damage mostly. They can also give you range power. That's same as range damage basically.
Okay. Yeah.
And this is kind of a hybrid weapon, because it gives you both magic dice and range power. So if you want a character that's both a mage and an assassin, so you can equip with this and have both.
Okay, yeah, useful stuff.
And so engraved dagger, it basically gives you some more armor.
Right. Are all the items in this game predetermined, or is there a degree of randomness to them?
They all
Okay.
designed.
What kind of price point do you think that you're aiming for on the PC for something
It's
say?
still hard to say because we don't really know the platform. We can't say anything for sure, but I would say that it's more than $5 and less than 10.
Right, yeah. So
it can be anything.
Yeah, so really. Definitely around sort of Dungeons of Dreadmore kind of pricing, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I actually own Dungeons of Dreadmore.
Yep. A lot of us played Dungeons of Dreadmore.
Yeah,
it was quite an interesting title. Do you think that Dungeons of Dreadmore in particular has raised interest once again in roguelike style games?
It might be.
Yeah, I think it has somehow.
Yeah, although it differs a lot from Rimeland because we are not exactly roguelike like that.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
So random.
Yeah, you can see the elements of it in the game, but it's definitely not a full-on roguelike, which is not necessarily bad because some people don't want a full-on roguelike. Roguelikes are extremely punishing, but perhaps they do want some parts of it, like say the turn-based combat and the dice roll stuff and things like that, which is what you're definitely getting here.
They now have 3 dice, so it's
very nice.
Now I feel more powerful.
Significantly overpowered. That's how we like to be. Okay, fantastic. I think that about covers it in terms of questions I've got for Rimelands Hammer of Thor. Now, we could assume that this is probably going to end up out on Steam, Gamersgate, things like that. Yeah, as you were saying, you're looking towards the end of the year, but as long as it takes in order to make sure that it works properly.
Basically.
Always good. Ladies and gentlemen, there you go. A look at Rimelands Hammer of Thor. And thanks, Dicework Games, for giving us a look at that, and best of luck at your title. I'll see you next time.